I think it makes a ton of sense to be highly optimistic at Georgia this year. That's what Matt Stinchcomb had to say on Friday about the Georgia Bulldogs on Paul Feinbaum's show. And what do you think? I mean, you think Matt's right, Matt? You know, Matt is no dummy. If you don't know who Matt Stinchcomb is, a two-time All-American at Georgia. I'm sure he's an academic All-American as well. Went on to play in the NFL, and he knows the program very well from his days covering the team for the SEC Network, as well as being a former teammate of Kirby Smart. So he certainly has an understanding at a minimum of what's going on at Georgia. It makes a ton of sense to be highly optimistic. If you know Matt, you know he understands how to talk too. He's not just going to say stuff that doesn't, that's not a little bit hedged along the way. So what do you think? I mean, do you think this is something that, are we going into a 21 season where Georgia fans should be optimistic? You look at JT Daniels, Zamir, James Cook, the receivers at Georgia. The offense looks like it could score on almost anybody this year. And with JT in there, they did score on anybody. They didn't play well against Cincinnati, but they scored when they needed to in the second half, particularly on the last drive of the game. And you can feel momentum building in a way that was, last year everything was predicated on Jamie Newman. And then when he comes in and doesn't play, they had to find themselves. 2020 was really gonna be the year, I think, that Georgia changed its offense for good. And you didn't have a spring football. You have a brand new offensive coordinator. You have new everything really on offense because you have a new coordinator, new offensive line coach, new quarterbacks. It was a lot of new. Then Jamie leaves. JT Daniels isn't ready, and you're rolling with Stetson Bennett for a while. So a lot of what they were getting ready for didn't work out because, the guy that they suspected, which was Newman, to be the guy, wasn't there. So now we're going to really see a full year of, JT Daniels with Todd Monken and a new age Georgia offense. Should we expect more fireworks? Should we expect more scoring? I know I do. I think this is a Georgia team that, while there could be a question on the offensive line in terms of who plays left tackle, and I'm not sure that's a unanswerable question. Everything else is filled out, and with the exception of, I guess, Alabama, certainly Clemson's defensive line, which Georgia actually plays, will be a challenge. But Clemson just gave up 50 yards and however many passing yards against Ohio State. So, Clemson's got work to do on its defense as well. This Georgia team, excuse me, is, to me, I think Matt's right. I mean, I think they've given people a reason to be optimistic. And there's only really 5 teams that are likely to win the national championship this year. And I'm not saying Georgia's likely to win it. It's one of the 5 teams that probably could, which are, Bama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Oklahoma. And I think, honestly, there's got to be skepticism about all 5. I mean, you look at Georgia and Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma's never won a college football playoff game. You look at Clemson, they've got a lot of turnover for sure. Georgia, they just haven't won the national championship. I mean, it's that simple. They have not beaten Alabama while Kirby's been the head coach. They played 3 times. And then Ohio State, losing Justin Fields is not nothing. I mean, he's the reason why they had such a good season, although it was a short one. So all of these, and Alabama, I mean, Alabama lost as much firepower as anybody in the country, probably not named Florida. And unlike Florida, Bama has really recruited and should be expected to be back. I think they're the favorite to win the national championship. But it's not a clear favorite to win it. They just are a team that consistently does it, a program consistently does it, and they're the best coach in college football history. So all those things matter. Georgia, I'm not seeing a lot of losses on this schedule. And we're going to talk a lot about Georgia Clemson. I mean, this Dawg Post, this is what we do. We talk about the next game a lot, talk about rivalries a lot. And this may not be a rivalry really anymore, but it's a big game. It's the first game of the season. It will set the tone for the 2020 year, 21 year, and beyond. And Georgia needs to win this game against Clemson, and it's going to be predicated on Georgia's ability to score. If you can't score, it's hard for me to believe that Clemson's gotten so much better on defense and has recovered their problems against that they had against Ohio State, and they're going up against someone in JT Daniels and Todd Monken who are going to score. They're going to throw it. I don't think it's out of the question that this game is played in the 30s and 40s at all. But in the past, I would say that would maybe favor Clemson. I'm not sure that favors them anymore. We don't know. I don't know. But I think so much of time from when Matt played at Georgia backwards, Georgia always viewed themselves as using Lady Luck to win, Larry Munson. The pessimism of the Georgia community, the unmitigated swings of emotion. I mean, it was just nuts. And, Larry Munson Georgia fans have got a lot of Larry pumping in their blood, and with good reason. He was unbelievable. But at the same time, it really is like, I don't know why this has come to me just now, but it's like when Darth Vader's saying to Luke, hey, listen, let's go do this. It's your time. You need to do it. And Georgia does too. And then I don't think there's any reason to not be optimistic. You're not going to get anything in college football easily. I mean, you can say whatever you want to about Clemson and their path to the playoff, and that is a joke, and that is easy. But once they got there, the two times they won it, they beat legitimate foes for sure. If you're Georgia, you're going to have to win the last 3 games of the season to win the national championship. So, it'd be very odd to me that they could lose a game at the end in the championship game or something like that, and not. You're going to have to win 3 games in a row probably against really good teams. The excuse making is there for teams like Alabama, who have backed their way into national championship opportunities twice in recent memory, twice in the last 10 years. But they've taken advantage of it. Georgia, I don't think, is going to get that opportunity. Oklahoma, probably not. Ohio State. Clemson, maybe. But, all those teams not named Alabama need to win the games that they're supposed to win. And that starts for Georgia with their date with the Tigers in Charlotte. I think that is a fight. But Georgia should be going into it expecting to win. If you're going to be good, you're going to be good. You shouldn't apologize for it. And you shouldn't apologize for thinking that you're going to be good. Doesn't mean you got to be a lunatic about it. But, when Matt said that on Friday, I think it makes a lot of sense to be highly optimistic. I think it makes a lot of sense to agree with him. Let's talk about it more on Dawg Post, DAWGPOST.com. We'll see you over on the website.